Hello to all. We are going to be talking now about the acquisitions of assets for the organization. Just the way that they are coded, the way that the amount that they have to be considered assets, and just how to measure if they're going to be provide benefits for the organization.
Okay, so what we do is when we need to purchase a large or expensive object, whether it's the printers or the postage machine, certain things, anything over $500 is an asset and must be coded to an asset code. We have several codes that we use for many different things that we purchase, from our health insurance to a printer, or so, a large piece of equipment. Everything has a number, so we code it to those numbers. So when it goes to the accountant can say, okay, they purchased a large piece of equipment with this. That gets coded, and in the long run it gets split among the partners, but it becomes an asset for the company, and then the accountant takes that into consideration and keeps that available for taxes and whatnot. So everything that we do in payables is coded to one asset or another, one code or another, whether it's an asset or not. And then, like I said, that goes to the accountant. He decides what's what, and how it plays into the partnership of the office, and where those expenses come from.
Who makes, suppose that I'm one of the doctors,
Mhm.
and I say that I need another printer. So I just make a requisition to you, or to say I need to get another one because the one that I had is not working anymore.
Well, in our office, if the doctor needs anything, we provide that to them, because obviously they're not going to ask for things that they don't need. So because they're paying for it. So
Yeah.
no, if the doctors want something like that, we just go ahead and we purchase that for them and get it installed, and it still becomes an asset of the company.
Yeah.
Unless it's something personal that they want at home, otherwise it's still an asset of the company, and it still belongs to the office. If it's something large, very expensive, say over $700 or so, then that has to get approved. We'll have to get approval from the administrator or the manager to be able to make that purchase. But again, if it's a physician, they usually won't ask for something unless they truly need it.
What kind of documents do you need to do the approval? You just need the...
Well, what we do is we'll purchase the item and pay for it, whatever method we pay for it, whether it's a check or a credit card. That receipt has to be submitted along with the paperwork to the accountant. There has to be proof that you purchased it. You can't just say, if I get a printer, I have to submit that printer receipt to the accountant, showing them what it gets coded to and the proof that I actually bought it. So then it becomes a property of the office.
Have you ever sold some of the items from here, something that you don't use anymore?
We have not, no.
You just make donations with them?
Well, usually, if it's something large, like a large printer or copier, we trade it in for a newer version, so that we keep paying ourselves back with the money that we've already spent on it, just like trading in a car. So we get a little bit of credit for this or that, and then they bring us another one. So, printers, unfortunately, the regular small printers, they don't go very far. They don't last too long. We go through a lot of paper in a day, and unfortunately, trying to be a paperless office is a difficult thing to do. So, but like I said, we just turn it back in for a little bit of credit towards the next item that we're going to purchase.
Okay, and just suppose that the doctors are going to a medical conference and the cost is more than $500. Is also considered an asset for the organization?
No, a conference is not. It has to be a solid object to be an asset. The conferences all get coded to the physician that is attending them. So the airfare, the membership costs, all that would be, if Dr. Bob wanted to do all that, then all those expenses with receipts in hand will get coded to that physician. So that's not for the whole company to purchase. to be part of paying for it, gets coded to that position. And at
Even
the
though
end of
it's
the year-
related with the medical profession
Well,
and.
That's all how it gets coded.
Uh-huh.
The membership itself is a code, the registration is a different code, the airfare, the hotel, they all get coded in ways, in separate codes. So
Mhm.
that's, like, so when the accountant gets it, he can say, okay, he traveled here, Dr. Bob went to Boston, attended this conference, stayed at the hotel, had meals, came back. All those are separate codes, so that when they're looking at it, they understand that you're not on vacation,
Yeah, yeah.
right? They understand with a certain code that you're doing business.
It's related.
Right, right, but because to go to the conferences and whatnot is your choice, nobody makes you go to that.
At
You
least-
need it for your continuing education.
Yeah, for the recertification.
Exactly.
Or they have to go to
Right.
board exam or
Right.
to take another certification
Licenses
exam.
and whatnot, all that gets coded specially, so in the end, the doctor himself is not gonna pay that full amount. That's not gonna come out of his pocket.
Mhm.
A lot of that will get written off to the different codes. But we have to report each and everything separate.
And some kind of expenses, like the regular expenses that you have in the office, like the pay, the utilities,
Mhm.
or things like the payment for the gas.
Right.
So those are considered as like regular operating expenses of the organization.
Exactly, and they also have their own codes. Every single bill has a code. Whether it's, you have to show that you're spending the money properly.
Mhm.
You can't just make a check and say, here, I wrote
Yeah,
this
you
check.
just need to
You have
do
to
it.
have documentation for everything you do. And every bill that we pay in a month, we pay our bills twice a month, and every bill that we pay has a code, it has a bill attached to it. We don't make the money here, we don't write the check here, we send it to the accountant's office, where they make the checks and mail them out, okay? So basically, we just give them the bills with the codes attached, to let them know.
Did you buy vaccines? Are they like medical supplies? So you told me that are in charge of the nurses?
The nurses take care of the vaccines and any type of nursing, patient, doctor supplies they may need, like gauze, the Band-Aids, the alcohol, the different supplies that they may need. They purchase that. We have a distributor that we use. Well, there's 2 or 3. And if they're vaccines, then they go to the vaccine people and it gets coded to the vaccines. Vaccine has its own code. Medical supplies such as the Band-Aids and whatnot, that's just going to get coded under medical supplies. But again, they order all that themselves and they handle that.
They have a system to control the inventory, just to know how many
Yeah,
units do they
when
have,
the
everything.
when the product comes in, they have to document, on the packing slip. They'll have to document, yes, I received this, and put their initials next to it. And then they give that to me, where it will go into the payables, so that when I do the payable.
They update the inventory in the system to know that you know how many units do you have available in your home.
The nurses do that.
The nurses.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I can take you up to them if you'd like to talk to them about it.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much for your help.